If your drawings are looking flat and lifeless, and you've got your shading and details on point, then you're making a mistake with your highlights. This is part 5 in my small series of drawing realistic eyes using coloured pencil, and in this part we're focusing on how to make your eyes look glassy and reflective. One of the more overlooked details within eyes, but one that can make the most difference to the realism you're trying to achieve. We're going to break down how highlights actually work, how to layer your pencils within them, and how to make them the most reflective instead of flat and chalky. So why are your eyes not looking glassy and real? Well, most people just add a white or a near white blob in the brightest part of the eye with minimal shading, and that's it. It ends up looking stuck on and unrealistic and lacking life. For me, the highlight is what gives an eye its vitality. It's what makes the animal or person look alive on the paper. Real highlights aren't just white spots within the eye, even if that's what your reference photo is showing. It's the shading and what's happening around them that you need to pay a lot of attention to. So let's start to break that down. One of the first things that I like to put down, mainly before any layers are added to the iris itself, is to add a light layer of white pencil to the highlight area. And I do this to preserve the area from the layers of colour I'll be adding to the iris. I make sure to use a waxy white pencil for this. I like to use a Holbein soft white, but something incredibly waxy like a white Prismacolor is also really good to use. I find the more oil-based polychromos or the Derwent Lightfast pencils don't work as well for this kind of preserving technique. The placement of your highlights really depends on your reference photo and the light direction. But an important thing to remember is that the highlights sit on top of the cornea and not actually inside the eye, so they overlap some of the vital parts of the eye, the iris and the pupil. In most cases you'll find highlights on both of these parts anyway. The shape of your highlights are also dependent on your reference photo and the light source, and even what you can see reflected. I find a lot of eyes have a person, usually the one who's taking the photo, or things like windows, trees. In both of these cases, the shapes will be different in the highlights, but both will most likely have harsh outlines, especially if the light source is very strong. In softer or darker lighting, highlights tend to be a lot more muted and have softer edges to their brightly lit counterparts. You'll also find that the highlight shape is repeated across both of the eyes, but maybe one is slightly stronger than the other. And again, this all depends on your reference photo, so just make sure you pay close attention to that, the lighting and its effects within your reference photo. Now, this is the part that a lot of people miss when creating their highlights. The highlights only look bright because everything around them is darker. As you're building your highlight, you want to focus on also darkening and building the values around the outside of it, getting that pupil extra dark and almost adding shadows around the highlight. This is especially important according to your light direction. So if you have a strong light coming from the right, there will be a lot more shadow and darkening of values happening on the left side of the highlight. You need to remember the direction that the light is travelling. And in this contrast, that darkening around the really bright highlight is what creates that glossy, wet look. The colour within a highlight often depends on what is reflected there. Is the subject outside in natural light? Maybe you'll have grass or sky reflected, so your colours may be more green and blue based. The colour within the highlight is rarely ever a pure white. I always add a layer of sky blue, that's from Polychromos, to my highlights, and I find a little touch of blue makes everything appear a little bit more white anyway. So the brightest part of my highlight is often a light blue. I blend it down with a white pencil, but primarily I'm adding blue in there. And that's often surrounded by various other shades of blue. Dark indigo is also a key colour I add to tone and shade highlights, especially the ones in natural outside light where you can see the sky reflected, or windows. I find the highlights across the pupil tend to be a little bit more shaded, so they're not quite as bright as the ones you'd find on the iris. And this is also where I will add a lot of dark indigo, alongside purples and maybe even a touch of orange, just to keep the shading. It's important to remember that highlights across the pupil, you'll still be able to see somewhat of the pupil shape underneath. So it may seem really bright, but you should be able to see the kind of dark abstract shape of the pupil underneath, so you need to reflect this in your highlight shading. To really push the realism, you want to look for tiny secondary highlights and subtle reflections across your eye, especially in the lower part of the eye and around the edges. As the light travels across the eye, you often see that there's a few small reflections in these places. And these small details help to add that curved eye effect, and it makes the eye feel alive. So you don't just have that one strong highlight, you have several across the eye that aren't as strong but add to that kind of wet look. Also look out for small details like eyelash reflections along those larger reflections like windows and people that were mentioned earlier, and you want to add these in with a sharp dark pencil to make them harsh and precise if that is what your reflection shows. If it's softer, obviously soften them out, but a nice sharp dark pencil to get crisp, precise reflections or other things that are reflected within your highlight is key. Sometimes you'll get some outlier highlights that aren't part of the main set within the eye, and I always add these in with a sharp white pencil or a white gel pen. And this is one of those tools that I use sparingly, but it can really increase the contrast and make your eye sparkle. I reserve this for really small details and lightest, brightest parts of the highlight to add that contrast boost. Remember, what we're looking for is that contrast between the lighter areas and the darker areas. The more shading you do around your highlight, the more reflective and sparkly and glassy it's going to look. Hopefully after following these small tips, your eyes are looking a little less flat and dull and are now full of life and sparkle. In the next video, we'll be looking specifically at animal eyes and adding fur around the outside eye edges and how to get it looking realistic with the bone structure. So make sure you're subscribed if you don't want to miss that. And if this has helped you, let me know in the comments. What part of drawing eyes do you find the hardest? Make sure you check out the rest of my series as well to see if that can help you further, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye.